Alright, welcome everyone. We're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we're here for
Parasyte the Maxim, episode 16. Shinichi is in a bit of a pickle. There are 3 parasites sharing the same host that have confronted him. But thankfully Miggy woke up, because that would have been really bad.
That would have been really bad. We don't know if he's awake, though, for the whole thing. Like, he might fall back asleep. But it looks like he's awake. It's probably that, you know, he was in such a panicked state that Miggy was just like, "Oh, good, I'm awake. All right, I'm glad you're okay. You survived this far."
Or he just managed to avoid Miki for 4 hours and then eventually woke up. But
so good.
But this is a tough fight that he's got ahead of him.
Yeah, it's a tough fight. We've got things going on in the background with Tamiya Ryoko and the whole parasite group that's now starting to like, we're gonna let Miki handle this, but we'll see. How this goes.
And we might have someone even worse for
have
Shinichi.
Something even worse.
Well, yeah, that too.
We don't know if this is him kind of becoming self-aware of what he's turning into, or if this is him receiving like input from,
whatever
the origin point of the parasites or what have you.
Something.
Exciting stuff ahead. So y'all, without further ado, let's get into this. All right, now everyone make sure to go check out the reaction portion of the video in the link in the description below, and then come back here for the discussion. Also, little funny meta thing. He said the 16th time, and isn't this the 16th episode?
Wow. Wow. Now, granted, that didn't happen in the first episode, but...
Well, we didn't see it, though.
Well, no, because the Miggy didn't distribute 30% of his mass, until later. But yeah,
you're right, yeah. Okay.
All right.
A lot of things happened this episode.
A lot of things. So...
We had Miki showing down with...
and apparently...
Shinichi and Miggy.
And apparently the other parasite was there as well.
Yes.
It was just... different. Wow. Okay. 5 in one body.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's already essentially a 3-in-1 combo within there already. Because if you think about it this way, when there were 3 detected, one of those 3 was 3. So that there were actually 5. Which means that the one that's got the perfect fusion between being able to change their body parts to, become like a deer's or something like that, so they could run really fast. That one is already 3-in-1. Like, that's freaky. Like this is going the full Resident Evil kind of thing, where it's going to be eventually like 12 of them in one body.
Yeah.
It's forming a super,
it's a little bit ridiculous.
Blob tentacle monster.
Well, and given that, because this also, in fact, that Miggy saw that, it confirms the thing that Miggy was wondering about of, is host transfer possible? Right.
It's very possible.
Because I don't like that it is one, like, it's very unlikely that would be something where they all just happen to get the same host at the very beginning.
No, of course
very
not.
unlikely, right?
They're doing it for survival purposes, probably because their social situations aren't one that they can hide very well.
And also experimentation, which is kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
Whoa.
So when Miggy sensed 6 of them at
5
the group,
of them. At the group.
Gotcha. when they were doing the public presentation.
Right.
Was it just the one politician and then the other one?
Well, there were bodyguards. The bodyguards were parasites.
There were bodyguards, and we've seen them talking in their little room, and there's more than just, the small handful.
Yeah. But this one is the same one that went and tested itself against the
the
Yakuza.
Killing spree. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So at that point, I think that one already had 3. And then Miki basically wanted to tag along. It seemed like. And the reason why Miki didn't have like a great kind of track record with all this is because Miki doesn't have a lot of experience piloting.
Yep.
Wow. This is literally like, hey, can I pilot the mech this time?
Right.
Yeah, this flesh mecha thing.
Yep.
Yeah,
which
totally
makes sense then why it's like, I think you'd be the best, but we're going to send Miki. It's like, we're going to let Miki do a test drive for this one.
Right.
It's like, okay.
That's freaky. That's freaky.
And then there was the whole deal with the investigator. Private Eye, and of course his family gets killed.
Kuromori, poor guy.
That sucks.
Yeah,
that sucks.
It's like Shinichi's dad all over again. Just watching the family just getting torn apart.
Right now,
cracking under the pressure.
The question is, how much do you write in that notebook? Because there's Tamura Reiko, right? But yeah, there's names. But that was a whole
partner too.
Yeah. But the thing is, there could have been all kinds of other stuff because that was a thick notebook, right?
So he's basically going to die. So he probably is right.
So he probably wrote everything.
He probably wrote it as much as he could. Yeah.
Which is
a problem.
That's a problem. Now, given how bad the situation is, at least at the beginning, it might be something where they're like, okay, we can use Shinichi, right?
Yes.
As an ally, right? Because if there's this many that they're going up against, and you can detect them and do all this stuff,
possibly, yeah.
Having at least one is helpful, right? They might still want to do experiments, which is a whole other issue, but Shinichi got his dad out of there. That was great. I'm really glad that they had that conversation and that he was able to basically say, Dad, you need to trust me, right?
Yeah, I've been a good son. I'm not messing around right now.
Right, this isn't a joke.
And
this
then
is serious.
when he says, it's the monster coming for you, the same one that killed Mom, which, God, that's got to hurt for him to say.
Yep.
But he's able to steal his emotions in that moment there. And you saw the dad. This is something that I think they were using to foreshadow Tamura Reiko's brilliant little monologue there about the human, brain of one thing there. Is when the dad realized that his survival and his son's survival was threatened, his emotions shifted. It shifted, and he went into are you okay then? Are you safe? Yeah, and he's like, yes, I'm safe. He's like, okay, I'll trust you. And it's we go, we're like, the dad is awesome. But then we realize, wait, it's not just that. It's that Shinichi is also doing a really good job here of being honest with the communication, which we're like, thank God. But then also, this is the thing Tamura Reiko or Tamiya Ryoko or whatever, was talking about. The idea that individually, human beings can have all this potential of great intelligence and stuff that we can work through on an individual level, but no one is brought up individually. No one raises themselves. It takes a town, kind
it's
of
not
thing.
A single person that is terrifying, right? Especially not from their perspective.
No, it's humanity.
The group.
It's humanity.
When all of them do their thing with their own society that they've set up.
We live in a society,
right? And something happens, and then just go
because we're connected.
Yeah, it's.
We can get into some really cool metaphysical, kind of spiritual stuff here.
I don't think I've ever seen fiction depict it as if mankind was a single organism.
Oh, really?
I don't think so.
From a scientific standpoint or from any standpoint?
Well, I mean, there's the scientific standpoint of we're all humans, but the idea of
one
setting
organism.
it up as if it was like a hive mind of sorts, But
that's a total thing in more Eastern type philosophy. The idea of every human being being connected with each other, freaking Avatar does that.
Sure, but usually when that happens,
Of course, I'm saying that you overlook it because you don't take it literally,
right? Because it's done in but it's because it's presented in the more spiritual aspect of we're all connected kind of a thing.
So what I was saying was that you've never seen it in the scientific perspective where they're saying that no, from our logic-based scientific kind of analysis, we have determined human beings to be one creature. My thing is, I don't think she's even going there because she's seeking purpose. She's already into the metaphysical. She's talking about this, I think, from a purely metaphysical perspective of when humanity is faced with extinction, every alternative is preferable. But its decisions based on that level aren't handled by the collective in some kind of literal translation.
Right, it's handled by individuals, and then the sum of those individuals forms the collective.
Yeah, but they act in the perceived best interests of the collective.
Sure.
Because they need something like that in order to justify usually the crazy and or dangerous thing they're about to do.
Yeah, it's the idea that it's probably not even something that's fundamental to humans. It's just some emergent behavior of when you have a bunch of things gathered together and their own self-interest bunched together turns into something else because they don't survive well when the I know, right? when the rest of them don't survive. So, And then ones that don't fit into that, right? Because maybe their own survival doesn't fit in with the survival of the rest of the tribe, right? They get cast out, killed, whatever, sacrificed on the pyre.
There's 2 levels to this, though. There's not just what we saw with Miggy and the 5 parasites. There's Shinichi and the tons of little cells of Miggy that split throughout his system and are currently working together as a mini collective already to enhance, evolve, and grow Shinichi into becoming something else. Something capable of truly surviving. Oh my god, I love how this is all blending together and connecting. It's so good.
It's one of those things where if it were to happen in a different show and it weren't done to the level of quality that it's been done in this show, it would feel like sort of like the bullshit pseudoscience, like let's get trippy and heady, because ooh, right? But here it's like, no, I actually this makes sense to me. This feels like it is a natural occurrence, a natural thing that would come about when you have this set of parameters that have been established.
We're still talking about this in the conjunction of humans and parasites, though, Jacob. So the human part is something that no one can prove. That's not something that's science-based.
Right, it's just an observed emergent behavior.
It's a metaphysical thing on just, based on, certain perspectives. It's not... It's
sure
like there's nothing definitive showcasing how, probably because the formula required to prove it would be too massive.
Or maybe a better way of saying it is that it's so fundamental that it's almost not even really saying anything.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, of course human beings are connected on a grander level.
Because that's how we survive. That's how we've gotten this far. So yeah.
Right. Like, it's not saying that all is one and one is all. Straight Full Metal Alchemist. It's saying that we're an ever-growing, evolving organism of many parts and individuals that will continue to survive and do everything it can to survive.
Yeah, Mother Nature always wins in the end, and it's more of just saying it in a particular way, in a particular perspective, setting, whatever, to showcase just how terrifying that can be.
Yeah, because Mother Nature doesn't care sometimes if 70% die off, just so that the wheels keep spinning. So that the wheels keep spinning, so that 100% doesn't die off.
Right, exactly. Somehow, some way. Right.
Yeah. Like a lot of things about, humanity that's really scary to think about in terms of I would say the inevitability of just our species going through multiple kind of disasters, I would just say.
The courses of nature.
Yeah, but I would say it's too simple to call it just nature, because a lot of these things is not nature. It's us bringing it upon ourselves in anything that is our nature.
Right.
But I'm not talking about it in the
not
Mother Nature sense.
Right, yeah, exactly. It's not the volcanoes erupting or things like that.
No, it's just the stupidity, the short-sightedness, the ambition, the desire, just all
of those things bundled up together and put in this little environment called planet Earth.
Yeah. Not communicating well with each other.
Sure.
Like the parasites that were, in union, and then the ones that were kind of the 2 extra ones on the side.
Or the ones of the 30% of Miggy that's in Shinichi that can't communicate well, or even the other parasites that aren't able to communicate well with Tamiya Ryoko because they think like, oh, she's dangerous or whatever, when really they would actually be able to benefit a lot from each other if they were to communicate better. So yeah
there are a lot of themes brought up in this episode that make me like have this renewed excitement regarding the details of the story, if that makes sense. So the themes are the general concepts and things like that, right?
Yeah.
And I've always been excited about the general themes and concepts explored via this show's kind of thing about, what does it mean to be human and all that.
Right.
Good stuff. But the themes they went into this were so many and so, I would say, even more obvious. Like, they were less vague. They were not they were not specific in that they weren't all encompassing, but they were repeated and honed and focused in a specific way.
It was on the nose.
Yeah. And then once we got past the stuff that was on the nose, there were other things that were like layers underneath it, to where now the details of the plot and the story there, I'm like, oh, I am way more excited now than I was a couple episodes ago.
Yeah.
I
feel like this is the episode where from here on out we're kind of getting into the end game. And I don't know, again, whether because this is adapted from an older manga and things like that, whether it will get to the end of the story. Hopefully it does, given that it's adapted from something old.
Probably will.
Like I would think that if they were going to bring it back like this, then they would have enough money to actually finish it. But again, Madhouse, so who knows?
It's probably why I feel like this is like so well edited in certain points, and also why it's so choppily edited at certain points, is because they're rocketing towards the ending.
Sure.
From the beginning of the show, like they were immediately letting us know, actually the pacing in this show is it's pretty wild at parts, so hold on tight, because sometimes it'll get even faster than this. And with the amount of stuff they managed to put into this episode, this is an example of where the pacing was going very quickly, and it was noticeable because of how many different plots and characters they were focusing on.
Right. Yeah. And
can we just talk about the Miggy internal stuff, the dreams?
So that's a whole
discussion right there.
Because the thing is,
here's the thing.
Because so when I first saw that creature, that entity, I figured, this is like the alpha, the board queen, the whatever, and it's sending and it's contacting Shinichi via directive, whatever, because he's a special snowflake that progressed in a way that is abnormal for the other parasites and might be beneficial for them to adopt, right? But no, it's actually Miggy. Thing is that feeling hasn't really gone away. So this is giving me like transcending the mortal coil type stuff, where it's like it could get into stuff that's so crazy and psychological and whatnot that I can't even begin to talk about where it could go. Like
in the immediate sense, it's just the fact that it's Miggy. It's just the fact that it's Miggy letting Shinichi know, or at least maybe not Shinichi, maybe just trying to communicate, because this whole episode was about communication, basically. Communication and connectivity.
Sure.
This was a form of Miggy trying to reach out and being like, I've been trying to get a hold of those other 30% for so long.
Well,
unsuccessfully.
Well,
haven't been able to do it.
And what if the answer to this was for Miggy to completely dissolve into Shinichi? And that's where you get, because, with the whole idea of a parasite, right? It's something that latches on, and it's a symbiote, right? You create this...
You win, I win.
Okay, not necessarily in the case of a parasite. Often it's not, right? But the thing is...
will kill its host and then move on once it's absorbed enough energy.
Right. But in the case of Miggy, the whole point of this show, one of the big questions is there a way that humans and parasites could coexist?
Yes. Is there a way?
Right. Is there a way? And if it gets to and that could be the big answer, right? Is that if Miggy, and the thing is, it's the kind of thing that Miggy would absolutely not want to do, because where would Miggy's sense of self go?
Right.
Where would Shinichi's sense of self go, right? Because we've seen how Shinichi's been changing, right? Now, he didn't make the decision for Miggy to, distribute 30% of themselves throughout his body. But if that were to go to a full 100%, they could become something different entirely. Kind of crazy. Just a little bit crazy.
Kind of probable at this point, though. Because what's the end game of Miggy trying to communicate with these parts there?
Right.
To reestablish some level of control over them?
Yeah, to bring them back and hopefully make it so that Miggy's wholer, and then there is not a hole literally in Shinichi where his heart was supposed to be, so...
Or finally have Miggy accomplish their mission.
Take over the rest of the body. Well, and
in some ways, I feel like your prediction is the correct one, because it's something where Miggy realizes that, no, we're better together.
It's always better when we're together.
Right. If you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. That's basically what we found out here with, Miggy and Shinichi just constantly trying to do the outrunning thing of the predator, which is hilarious because in some way we saw an example of where the monster was Shinichi. Shinichi was the one with the freakish speed and all this stuff.
Yep. And that was 30%. That worked out pretty well.
Yeah.
What about the rest of the 70%? Would you be able to still...
Oh, sorry. I was going on a different point there. The point is that human beings used to do this thing where we would just walk animals to death.
Yep.
We didn't go and necessarily fight them. We just go until they had to rest.
Right, and then we would still keep going.
And they would basically have their survival instincts kicking into the point where they would just sometimes just drop near dead. Yeah, basically, or dead.
Yep.
And we just go in and finish the job. This was that because he can't outrun the stamina of 5 parasites in that regard and a host.
Right, they're regulating the body too well. Yeah.
Right, exactly. But then things switched around once they actually started, working together. And then, the monster was more apparent in that regard in Miggy /
No. The monster
Parasyte
that's apparent is back at home and just got betrayed by the other parasites.
Yes, that's true. Good point. Yeah.
I'm really glad though that Shinichi finally told his dad something about what's up, because the thing is, the fact that he said that, it's the same monster that killed Mom, which isn't exactly true, but it's the same kind of monster. So it's enough, right? But that communicates to his dad, yes, I know about this stuff, right? I know about this stuff.
Yep.
You got to trust me. I'm okay, right? Because clearly I'm mixed up in all this, right? But I'm okay. But you need to get out of there. And I've been wanting that stuff to happen for a very long time. And the way, like you said, the way that his eyes shifted once he realized that it's not just me, but my son's in danger. Because the thing is that we've shown Shinichi's dad to be, rightly so, broken by everything that happened. And I love seeing stories where basically the element of chaos is introduced and the person rises to the occasion. And most of the time it's done in sort of like those coming of age sort of like underdog stories.
Yeah, they get knocked down.
They get knocked down, but they keep getting back up.
Yeah.
And those are great too.
Yeah.
But the thing is, I feel like this is a more like realistic kind of underdog story, because it's the everyman. Just because he's the adult, just because he's the dad and things like that, doesn't mean that he also has trouble with that kind of stuff too. But having that look in his eyes of, okay, it's go time, it's game time, right?
Yep.
This is an emergency. All right, let's do this.
I liked the contrast with Kuramori, because Kuramori had his moment of where he was like, yeah, no, I'm out. I'm out. I have a family. I have a wife and kids.
Right.
I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to do this. Everything goes wrong. Everything goes wrong. He gets roped back into this. Oh, hold on. Sorry. He gets roped back into this, and then his whole thing is, I got to tell someone. So he goes and tells them. Yep. Okay, sweet. Then he might have also gotten just picked up. I don't know. They that part went so fast. Then basically just goes, well, I have to vindicate. I have to have vengeance. I have to avenge my my wife and kid. And basically has the thing of, I'm going to do my duty essentially and pass on what I know.
Right.
But he's not able to hold his grip onto reality because he doesn't have someone to protect. He doesn't have someone that connects him to humanity anymore.
Yeah.
He's alone. He doesn't. So essentially his actions, his choices become monstrous, not human. He just has hatred on his mind.
Well, and even then,
I love that was just paralleled with the idea that it took only the slightest bit of contempt to be shown from Tamiya Ryoko that the other parasites were like, okay, yeah, you're done. We don't like you anymore.
And then that very contempt that they then reverse mirrored back against her was the thing that alerted her that they were there.
And, and it's also the same emotion in some ways coming in from the human Kuramori.
Sure. Yeah.
So, yeah.
Oh boy, this episode.
We're way connected, y'all.
And this train has no brakes.
Yeah, this hype train has no brakes. And,
oh boy.
There was even some comedy in this episode. We had Miggy stealing money out of the truck and hiding it in like a wrist pouch or thing.
Yeah.
Like, that was so silly.
And Shinichi being like, but you're stealing. And he's like, Shinichi, really?
Like, Shinichi, we are we both need to
Our
survive.
survival is on the line. Like, that almost felt like something that was put in there specifically just for the sake of, like, you know, the editors of the magazine to be like, wait, we need
He's
to make
a good
sure.
guy.
Yeah, he's a good guy. We're not setting a bad example for the readers, you know.
Right. We don't want it. We don't want the government to get pissed because we're encouraging,
Right, exactly.
rebellious
theft or
behavior.
whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yep.
That was kind of funny though, but the idea that he's like, so it's still theft. He's like, yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Like, at the end, he's just like, but we're still stealing. He's like, yeah, of course we are.
Yeah,
Like,
right.
I'm not denying that. I'm just saying, think about the higher
Priorities
level of importance here.
you know. Yeah.
But what's interesting?
Mm-hmm.
What's interesting is that I think we're not supposed to look at it as just they're just trying to take this from the editor's perspective, because if you think about the theme of this episode being humanity's connection, he's hurting humanity slightly by stealing that money
for the good of humanity, because no one's going to die from that money being taken, but a human will survive.
Yeah. So the idea that the organism itself sometimes commits harmful actions against itself so that the larger percentage essentially gets benefited by that.
And it might not actually be that that's what's the priority in mind. It might just be something where each individual is trying to survive and whatnot, but oftentimes that results in the organism as a whole.
The idea also that it takes sometimes threats to our survival to unite groups.
Yeah.
And that's another scary thing, because when something's survival is put into question, I'd say one of the main emotions they act in is fear.
Right.
And fear is one of the worst emotions to be acting in, because as we know, based on Yoda, fear is the path to the dark side.
Right.
Fear leads to anger. Anger leads to hate. Hate leads to suffering.
And the other thing is that, and there's a darker perspective that can be taken on it takes a danger to unite humanity. That's not actually something that happens. That's an emergent behavior.
Yeah.
Because once there's a threat like that, anyone who doesn't, they're the enemy.
Mm-hmm.
And they get taken out just the same.
We pluck their hairs out to make sure they're one of us.
Yeah. Like, that's, like, the fact that that's the biggest, like, miracle of our society today is that we aren't in tribalism, right? We're able to actually,
in a literal sense,
coexist with all these people that we have,
we have tribes. Yeah.
Right. We have tribes and whatnot. But it's not at the, if you're in a different tribe, we kill you for our own survival kind of a thing.
Right. We have had moments in history like that.
Oh, definitely. Definitely.
Recently.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh, man. This is a good show. This is a good show, y'all.
It is indeed.
It brought a lot of good conversation of this one episode here.
Yeah.
And there was some good foreshadowing to build up a lot of the stuff that happened in this episode.
And it looks like we're just getting started with this episode. Like,
yeah,
that's pretty cool.
This feels like just the next stage of things.
Yep.
So, love it. Love it so much. So, y'all, if you want to see the next episode's reaction and discussion to this good show right now, go check out the link in the description below for our Patreon. You can get on early access there. You can watch full-length reactions there. And all this comes with Discord access. You can chat with us and the community there about these stories, about anime in general, or just whatever. Like, you can also talk with Jacob there about his book.
Yes, my sci-fi novel, Battle Lines, is still available for order on Amazon.
Mm-hmm.
The link is in the description below, so go check it out. And if you do get it, make sure to leave a review to let other people know what you think.
Yeah, so if any of that interests you, we'll see you there. But until then, we're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we'll see you all
next time.